So Doom The Dark Ages is out, and it is worth a ridiculous 80 USD. I refuse to pay that price. Not that I cannot afford it, I don't wish to support the practice. Not only that, Moist Critical has a 4-hour stream up. He has experienced 17 crashes, that is 17 in a span of 4 hours. The only justification for a price tag, if I had to take a guess, it would be a psychological warfare to promote the Xbox Game Pass. If that is true, then I'm certainly convinced that the Game Pass is worth it. I get to play Doom for the fraction of the price, provided they optimize the game first. I'll give Doom The Dark Ages a try on Game Pass, but meanwhile, I decided I would play the previous entry, so let's check out Doom 2016 and Eternal. Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are 4 years apart. Like any other game, a sequel is objectively the better game. You have improved UI, story, graphics, music, and most importantly, the gameplay. But like any other piece of media, it is hugely subjective as well. I'll discuss what I believe are the most important aspects of the game, and towards the end list it out for you to decide which game you would like to pick up. I will start with the story. Eternal picks off where 2016 ended, but you really don't need to play the previous game to enjoy Eternal because the story is not really that great. In 2016, some scientists make a pact with Hell to solve an humanitarian energy crisis, which in turn unleashes the forces of Hell. And they promptly invade this futuristic base on Mars. Seeing no other option, the head scientist, Samuel Hayden, releases the Doomslayer to take care of the invasion. In Eternal this time, Earth is now facing this invasion, and again, you are the only brute force of nature who can stand up to this. So you're assigned to hunt down demon priests who are responsible. The story in both cases is just okay. I'm not so fond of it, but I think of it as a purpose. It gives Doomslayer a purpose and a goal to slay some demons out of existence. Well, story is subjective and I follow a no spoiler policy, so I won't go in depth, but what I can speak is about the narration and the presentation. In Doom 2016, the story is mostly narrative in nature. You stand around listening to holographic dialogues and audio calls and a few cutscenes which are mostly first person. Unfortunately for me, I don't have the patience for that kind of stuff. Eternal does innovate on this by adding more cutscenes to the equation. Not that the narration is left out, but it is considerably better. Together, it makes for a better storytelling experience. Still not the best, but the Doom franchise is not well known for its narrative, well at least for me. But what it is known for is the raw and brutal gameplay. Now this is the core of Doom, and both the entries follow the same principle but are vastly different from each other in execution. The very basics for both are the same. You fight hordes of demons with an arsenal of around 8 weapons. Shotguns, machine guns, plasma rifle, minigun, rocket launchers, and even the BFG. You don't regen health or armor, you have to fight for it. Every level introduces new guns and new tools at your disposal. Like the Glory Kill, which are the brutal executions for health, and the Chainsaw, cut demons in half for ammo. Progression is also well paced but are mostly locked behind exploration and collectibles. Weapons have up to 2 special triggers, which modify how they act. Shotgun fires a cannon, machine gun becomes a sniper or a mini rocket launcher. You can upgrade your suit and equip up to 3 runes, which provide additional passives. This is pretty much it for the similarities. Here is where they are different. Eternal has a few more enemy varieties which are a threat if not taken care of. We also get the Flamethrower, the Frostnade, the Blood Punch, and the Almighty Crucible. Flamethrower sets demons on fire, which drop ammo when shot. Frostnades freeze your enemies for a short duration. Blood Punch, an extremely strong punch, and the Crucible is a one-shot hack. We also get double dashes, and the Super Shotgun now has a chain hook. Then Eternal also makes ammo scarcity a thing, and finally but most importantly, Eternal introduces enemy weaknesses, like popping a nade into this demon that opens it up for Glory Kill, or plasma rifles blowing up energy shields. Now that was a lot to take in. So what happens? Doom's Eternal combat feels like a game of chess. You are constantly switching weapons to match the enemy type. You're dashing around to avoid enemy damage. You use your frost nades to buy you some time. You chain hook for repositioning. You use the flamethrower to pick up that extra armor. You use the chainsaw to refill your ammo. And the crucible to eliminate high value targets. At the start you will find this exhausting. Running out of ammo will be annoying. The dash will feel junky, but towards the end, as you get more and more comfortable with your arsenal, you find new ways to approach the encounters. The combat here makes you feel like a space ninja and really forces you to use your entire arsenal. This results in a much more thought-provoking and challenging encounter. In contrast, Doom 2016 is considerably easier. You just decide on using your favorite weapon throughout your game. The BFG is pretty much a cheat code that deletes everything in front of you, and the chainsaw, although serves the same purpose, is optional at best. Eternal makes sure you are constantly using your chainsaw to keep your ammo economy running. Here, ammo is abundant. 2016 is more sandbox in the way you approach every encounter. You can play how you think it's fun. But I must say, as I read somewhere on the internet, and I couldn't agree less, Doom 2016 makes you feel like an unstoppable force in a way that Eternal doesn't. In Eternal, it almost feels like you're trying to survive the hordes of demons in front of you, not slay them. Next, the level design. Both have fairly linear levels, 2016 being very linear. It has only two playing fields. One is the research base on Mars and the other, Hell itself. You spend the playthrough hopping between both of these. Eternal is vastly more superior here. Almost every level has a new location, and not only are the levels more varied, they also added a lot more parkouring, giving you the option to quickly position yourself and engage the enemy as you see fit. Other than that, Eternal has some puzzle solving and platforming. Both are fairly simple, but the platforming is a little bit too much at times. There are some specific sections which I did not like at all. I think it would have been a better experience if it was toned down a bit, or just not exist in the first place. Doom is not about jumping around like a monkey, it's about being a badass Doomslayer. Exploration and progression in Doom come hand in hand. Progression here is locked behind exploration. Every level has collectibles, both cosmetic and upgrades. Upgrades allow for modifications in your suit, weapon, and stats. The progression is fairly linear in both games. Not really much for customization. You increase your stats, namely health, armor, and ammo. Suits have passives and weapons have two playstyles. Eternal does have a tad bit more, but nothing major. Where the two games differ is how you get these upgrades, which is the exploration. Doom 2016 often prefers to hide these from you. You're really forced to roam around the map endlessly. I got really frustrated trying to find these and just gave up on them entirely. Eternal has a much better approach. It decides to show you these out on the open first, letting you figure out the way to get them. It is still a chore to figure some of these out, but it is a big step up. At least Eternal gives you an end goal, and the path is for you to find out. Another quality of life I very much appreciate from Eternal is the map. The map turns green for areas you've already been to. This is huge and I never thought I needed it until now. Both games have figurines. Eternal added soundtracks, more optional encounters, namely the Gorness and the Slayer gates, and also cheat codes. These codes allow you to modify the game in various ways like infinite ammo or unlocking all upgrades. Whereas 2016 has retro levels, letting you experience the original Doom game. Let's now quickly finish up with graphics and art style. Graphics are clearly better in Eternal. That is a given considering improving hardware capabilities. Art style though, I think 2016 is far darker and goresome. Eternal just feels cartoony and arcade-like. It really reminds me of Serious Sam, but this is not Serious Sam, this is Doom. You are against hell itself, so it just fits for the ambience to be dark and gore. Not that there's anything bad about it. Eternal is however more impressive when it comes to its environments. Both games are well optimized. I had zero issues during my playthrough. Lastly, I really cannot comment on the music. Both are crazy good. I can't bring myself to love one over the other. I clocked in at around 12 to 15 hours for both the games. I did not really have the stomach for side content. With that, I think we have covered what Doom has to offer. Let's look at what we have learned. Doom is a fast-paced, linear FPS game. If you like single-player FPS games, both games are really good. The story for both are mediocre to me. Doom 2016 is very audio log heavy, whilst Eternal has a bit more cutscenes added for the mix. You don't need to play 2016 to enjoy Eternal and vice versa. 2016's combat is easier, more straightforward, less buttons to press, and sandbox-like in nature wherein you decide your playstyle. Eternal introduces several more mechanics, it is much faster in comparison and forces you to use your whole arsenal and play by the game's rules. Progression on both games are fairly linear, with not much customization but they fit well. Exploration on 2016 is lackluster to Eternal. They do follow the same formula, but Eternal overall has a better approach with better UI, side activities, and level design in general. Doom 2016 is more horror, dark, and goresome compared to Eternal. Eternal gives off a arcadey style. The environment aesthetics of Eternal, however, I find is superior. 2016 is mostly tile sets with not much going on. Level design on 2016 is linear, simple, and straightforward. You hop between two locations and slay demons, that's it. Eternal has a lot more to offer, with vastly different levels, puzzle solving, platforming, and a lot more parkour. Overall, I enjoyed both the games, and each filled a very different niche. I'm very excited to play Dark Ages soon. Hope this video helped you. That's all from me. Thanks for watching.